as I said before, God's evolved from the earth. Now, I thought this picture was real interesting. The Egyptians called the reptilian force Apep. And here they're saying, they're talking about this reptilian force, the temper, the violence that the mountain tribes had. And they're praying, oh, don't let this come to me. And here's the serpent, or that reptilian force, all coiled up, waiting to strike. Okay, now God is not a big man in the sky. God, the supreme creator, is not human. Seth stated that God may be perceived as a psychic pyramid of interrelated, ever-expanding consciousness that creates simultaneously and instantaneously universes and individuals that are given through the gift of personal perspective, duration, psychic comprehension, intelligence, and eternal validity. The energy of God is so unbelievable that it does indeed form all universes, and because this energy is within and behind all universes, systems, and fields, it is indeed aware of every sparrow that falls, for it is each sparrow that falls. Okay, we were talking about after the ice fills. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about love, because I keep saying that God is love. So, all creation is an interaction of male and female forces. And it all started with male hydrogen and female helium. Now, God is love between a man and a woman. It's a perfect balance of male conscious hydrogen radiations and female subconscious helium radiations. Now, both God and love involve freedom and neither demand sacrifice. Both God and the loved one draw your best from you, and in the eyes of God and the loved one, you see what you can be. In the eyes of God and the loved one, you sense your potential. By accepting yourself and joyfully and lovingly being what you are, you fulfill your own abilities. Now, chauvinism is an attitude of superiority toward members of the opposite sex. Chauvinism is a male's prejudiced and biased degradation of women. Chauvinism is a baboon inherited instinct, because that was enslaved the women. Chauvinism, or female enslavement, is at the heart or core of barbarism, parasitism, and degeneration. Chauvinism prevents the development and expression of mature love between a male and female. Love and hate are based upon self-identification. You do not bother to love or hate someone you can't identify with at all. A person you feel strongly against at any time upsets you because he or she does not live up to your expectations. And it's precisely because the person is loved that it is so disliked if expectations are not met. Now, love is a great exciter to action, and love utilizes dynamos of energy. Love is always changing and growing, and love is powerful. It's the strongest force in the universe because God is love. Okay, now back to our story. Air temperatures in Scandinavian regions grew warmer around 10,000 years ago, and the only remnants of glacial ice were in Canada and polar regions. Rapidly melting glaciers sharply raised sea levels, and the earth again experienced great floods. Myths from all over the world describe humans and animals fleeing from the rising tides and taking refuge on mountaintops. Vast floods changed the contours of land in Central America and Mexico to that of the present. Floodwaters separated Asia and North America. Research shows that Central Europe and the Mediterranean islands of Corsica, Sardinia, and Sicily were all completely submerged on several occasions during the rapid melting of ice sheets. Now, historians state that pockets of worm Neanderthals lived in the Zagros Mountains of northeastern Iraq until the warming of 10,000 years ago, when they passed to extinction and the slaves were then free. Around that time, seal hunters who used Gravettian tools and carried Mother Goddess figures occupied Hotu and Bel caves in north-central Iran. And archaeologists found remains at numerous sites in Khyber Pass. Now here's Khyber Pass, right here. These were people coming down. These were the little Australopithecus like pygmies. And they were coming down from the Himalaya mountains after where Neanderthals died. Now, past to extinction. And this is around 10,000 years ago. Now, during the last glaciation, Neanderthal Java Australoid slave breeders sired children by Cro-Magnon sapien females from Africa, and the slave breeders traded their offspring. So Semites were descendants of this period of slave breeding. Now, historians state that all early Semites had similar physical features, but not a common heritage. However, they all had the same religion, custom, language, and rituals that were taught by the shaman priesthood. Jews, Arabs, Babylonians, Elamites, Assyrians, Aramaeans, Akkadians, Canaanites of Palestine, Phoenicians, and some Berber tribes are classified as Semites. Semites were descendants of the native Australopithecus-like Mediterranean females, but they were a bigger, thicker, more muscular people. And they worshipped and obeyed a warrior king or storm god that was a tribal leader, or the slave master, but they also worshipped a mother goddess, which is what their mothers taught them. Now, temperatures continued to glide, and the Sahara region continued to dry. Grasslands turned to steppes, and in some regions, or steppes, desert lands began to appear around 9,500 years ago. Many large animals in the Sahara region passed extinction, unable to adapt to climatic and/or dietary changes. As the animal populations decreased, true farming, as opposed to food gathering, began in Libya and western Egypt. At first, the people farmed around ponds and lakes where they didn't have to clear much land, and they grew wheat, emmer, barley, peas, and beans were their main crops. In other words, the earth updomed, the pluvial rain stopped, food was less abundant, and seal hunters, pygmies, and Semites were migrating from glaciated lands into the Black Land to be integrated into the population. At that time, the Egyptian Delta was a swampy region, largely underwater and abounding with crocodiles. Now, the head of the Sphinx was recarved during this drying period. Now, around that time, Egyptians and Atlanteans migrated to Palestine and merged with the people of the Australopithecus-like population, and they built Jericho, the first agricultural city and the first known walled city. Now, the walls around the original Jericho were 19 feet high. The city contained here's a picture of it, it's not a very good one, but see, these are two people up there. It contained a round internal drum tower, 27 feet in diameter and at least 25 feet high. Archaeologist Jacquetta Hawk stated the internal drum tower had a long